never be able to get their family back.
Hurricane Melissa left behind unimaginable suffering in Jamaica. How the Caribbean community here in the Bay Area is rallying to help loved ones devastated by the storm.
He was just, I mean, the guy went insane. He was like going crazy.
Committing a murder or simply standing his ground? That is the burning question in court more than a year after a fight on a local dock takes a deadly turn. Good evening, I'm Allie Corey in for Linda Hurtado.
And I'm Haley Hines. Thanks for joining us. First here at 5, a huge break for SNAP recipients as the White House agrees to extend coverage for a few more weeks. More than 42 million beneficiaries are now breathing a temporary sigh of relief. But as Fox's Connor Hansen reports, it is a short-term victory still in need of a long-term solution as the government shutdown approaches the longest in history.
The Trump administration says it will partially pay for SNAP benefits after the program's funding ran dry over the weekend. 2 federal judges ordered the administration to do so, but it won't cover the full tab.
It won't even cover about half of what November would cost. So we are working and looking at all angles right now.
SNAP costs about $8 billion each month, with about 1 in 8 Americans using the program. Food banks around the country are already feeling the strain.
We are concerned that this is becoming a tug of war, and folks who are some of our most vulnerable citizens are really pawns to this situation.
President Trump says he needs a few Senate Democrats to vote for a simple funding bill to reopen the government before he's willing to negotiate on other issues like Affordable Care Act subsidies.
And we only need 5 Democrats. We have a lot of Democrats. We only need 5.
But on the eve of Election Day for some key races, Democrats aren't showing any signs of budging.
We have a president who doesn't obey the law, and we're supposed to pass a law for him?
To break the logjam, President Trump has suggested taking an extreme measure, but congressional leaders do not agree.
I think we should do the nuclear option. This is a totally different nuclear, by the way. It's called ending the filibuster.
If no deal is reached, the shutdown will become the longest in history on Wednesday. In New York, Connor Hansen, Fox News.
More than 3 million Floridians are now in deep trouble when it comes to affording groceries, and that is because they, like so many other Americans, are grappling with all of the uncertainty surrounding SNAP benefits. And even the emergency funds won't cover all the payments. Fox 13's Evan Axelbank is live at Feeding Tampa Bay in East Tampa, where people have been lining up to get food there, Evan.
Well, Allie, you've got to see the size of these lines. Take a look. Hundreds of people, if not thousands of people here are lined up around Feeding Tampa Bay. They've been here since 1 o'clock trying to do something very simple for a lot of people in our community, but not for them. That is to put food on the table for their families. Times were already hard enough for so many of these families, but the loss of this help from the federal government makes it that much worse. We've spoken with families who have seen their SNAP payments of between several $100s and $1,000 go to nothing for this month. The Trump administration is being ordered to release emergency funds to pay for half of the benefits that someone is owed, but many of those payments will not be made right away. So that is a question. When will the funds finally arrive? Feeding Tampa Bay stresses that 70% of SNAP benefits go to children, seniors, and those who are disabled. The help that families are getting here will not make the pain go away, though. For every 1 meal that Feeding Tampa Bay can provide, they say SNAP benefits provide 9.
We don't have the finances to get groceries. If it wasn't for these food pantries and Feeding Tampa Bay, we wouldn't be able to survive. And that's really tough.
Me and my wife both on Social Security, so we rely on that food stamps every month, but without it here, we have to try something, do something.
Feeding Tampa Bay on a regular basis is providing about 1.9 million meals a week to a little over 1 million folks who are hungry in our community already. This is another 500,000. Right, so if you do the math, we could need another 1 million meals a week we're trying to provide. We do not have the resources to do that, but we'll do whatever we can.
In this congressional district alone, there are 179,000 families who rely on those benefits to make ends meet. In Tampa Bay, that number is around 500,000. In Florida, it's 2.9 million. And so again, Allie, people began lining up here at around 1 o'clock. They expect this to go for several hours here as people desperately try to get food to feed their families.
It is such a dire situation, but thankfully they do have access to such a wonderful resource like Feeding Tampa Bay. All right, Evan Axelbank live for us tonight. Evan, thank you.
Recovery from Hurricane Melissa continues intensifying across the Caribbean. More rescue and relief teams armed with critical supplies keep trying to access isolated communities in some of the hardest hit regions like western Jamaica. The island nation was decimated by Melissa, one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes ever to make landfall. The powerful storm has resulted in dozens of deaths, including more than 24 in both Jamaica and Haiti. The trail of destruction is severe. It's forcing some people to travel miles to try and find basic items and to check on their family members. The Tampa Bay area, of course, has a very active Caribbean community. Many of them have family in Jamaica, and they're working hard to help their loved ones on the island. Fox 13's Lloyd Sowers has been talking to folks all day. Lloyd, they're trying to get some much needed supplies to Jamaica.
Yeah, I asked what they need most, Haley. One lady said prayers. And of course everything else, because nobody has ever seen such devastation.
The aftermath tells the story of just how powerful Melissa was. But what was it like to be in Jamaica when the storm hit? Tampa resident David LaCaine was there.
Some help come there, yeah? Because it was horrific, man. It was horrific. I've been nonchalant when hurricanes come to Florida, because I figured in Jamaica when they say hurricane, it's going to be the same thing, but it was a whole different experience.
He just got back to his Tampa restaurant on Friday. It wasn't easy finding a flight.
I had to fly from Kingston to the Cayman Islands, and then from the Caymans here.
We're getting the stuff ready to get there.
Dawn Gordon is part of a crew taking donations at the Jerk Hut on Fowler Avenue. She has family in one of the hardest hit areas in Jamaica, about 20 minutes south of Montego Bay. It's remote and devastated.
No one even knows people are existed up there. They have lost like 4 different houses just on one property. They have no food. And that's devastating. The babies has no food.
They need baby products, hygiene supplies, non-perishable foods. And people here say that's just the beginning.
We are going to need in Jamaica more than tents and houses. We're going to need counselors to go there and counsel those people who have experienced such devastation.
She says the grief among her family and friends in Jamaica is overwhelming. So many have died, and the aftermath is horrible.
The worst stories right now is the grief, the bodies that they have, even though they might get their house back, or they'll never be able to get their family back.
Doing only what they can, collecting as many supplies as they can to get to Jamaica as soon as possible.
The donation stations are open at several Caribbean restaurants in Tampa, including the Jerk Hut on Fowler Avenue. Haley?
And I'll give something to help in that recovery, whether it is the non-perishable foods or prayer. They certainly need a lot of those. All right, Lloyd, thank you.
Well, new tonight, a Pinellas County man is under arrest following a deadly shooting in St. Pete. Corey Battle is charged with second-degree murder in the death of 44-year-old Jerome Smith. Investigators say Battle shot him last Thursday during a dispute at a home on 21st Avenue South. Smith was rushed to the hospital where he died from his injuries last night. Battle is being held without bond. Meanwhile, a Hillsborough County man is claiming stand your ground and trying to get his murder charges dropped more than a year after he pushed another man off a dock to his death. This all happening during a fight. Kamal Podlowski is charged with second-degree murder in the death of 47-year-old Melvin Jimenez. The incident happened in May of 2024 at a dock near Bahia Beach Boulevard. That was in Ruskin. Investigators say the two had met at a bar, and Podlowski invited Jimenez to his sailboat to continue drinking. Then security video shows the two men walking onto the docks, and then a short time later, there's video that shows Podlowski shoving Jimenez off the boat. Jimenez then falls backward, hitting his head against the dock box before Podlowski eventually throws him into the water and walks back to the boat. The medical examiner determined that Jimenez drowned due to blunt impact to his neck. Podlowski claims that he acted in self-defense after Jimenez made offensive statements to his wife, who was also there, before threatening the couple and trying to grab a knife.
We had probably told him 15, 20 times at this point. It started with you got to go to my boat. And Kate was telling the same thing, screaming, get off the boat. And he said, no, my boat, I'm not going anywhere. And he was just, the guy went insane. He was like going crazy.
Now, did he then try to grab the knife or knives?
Yes.
And then what did you do?
Then I pushed him down onto the cushion, the cockpit cushion, and I was holding him there.
There's a point in time where Mr. Jimenez is walking away from your boat, and you can see that he turns his head back. Does he say something?
First time he said two things. The first time he said, I'm coming back there, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna rape her. And then I said, what did you say? And he says, I'm gonna come back there, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna rape your wife. And when he said your wife, I was like, I gotta get him off the dock.
Prosecutors, however, argue that Pedlowski's actions amount to murder. The judge is now weighing both arguments. If she rules that Pedlowski was indeed standing his ground, the charges will be dropped. If not, the case will proceed to trial.
New at 5, a solemn ceremony honoring a Tampa police officer who gave his life in service to his community 50 years ago. TPD joined the Tampa Police Memorial Committee today to pay tribute to 27-year-old Anthony Williams, who made the ultimate sacrifice on this day back in 1975. He was off duty, stopping for milk at a local 7-Eleven when he walked into a robbery in progress. His wife, a fellow TPD officer, and their 4-year-old son were waiting in the car. When Officer Williams saw what was happening, he crouched near the entrance and called for his wife's gun to fight off the robbers. A deputy who had been waiting in a back room as part of an anti-robbery detail emerged with his pistol as well. Gunfire erupted and Williams was caught in the crossfire. His widow, Officer Ann Williams, shot one robber, handcuffed another, then ran back to her husband, who died in her arms. She says the pain never fades.
I held him the whole time he died, with my 4-year-old watching. I could see his little face up over the edge of the window. It was a bad, bad rest of the day. We feel like we're very alone. You know, only once a year are they honored. Most people don't remember what happened, how it happened. Tony was an incredibly great guy.
All 3 robbers were eventually convicted. Officer Williams was the 3rd Tampa police officer to make the ultimate sacrifice in a tragic 3-month span that year.
Well, still to come here at 5, Florida's home insurance market appears to be on the rebound.
And industry experts say the constant flow of policies into the private market is proof of that.
Citizens cannot depopulate without a stable private market.
The state-backed insurer is moving more and more customers off its books. We'll tell you about the latest batch of takeout offers and what's in store for next year ahead at 5.